You're listening to leadai.dev, your daily updates on AI development. Today's topic is token maxing trend making developers 70% less productive in 2026. Here's a quick overview. The token maxing trend is backfiring. Developers generate more code but spend 70% more time debugging and rewriting bloated AI generated solutions. Now, let's ask our analyst about these developments. What's new? Token maxing trend creates developer productivity crisis in 2026.
The token maxing phenomenon has emerged as a significant productivity drain for software development teams across the industry. This practice involves maximizing token usage in AI coding assistants to generate extensive code blocks, with developers believing longer outputs equal better solutions. Recent analysis reveals that teams practicing token maxing produce 40% more lines of code, but experience 70% longer development cycles due to debugging and refactoring requirements. The trend gained momentum as AI coding tools became more sophisticated, leading developers to request increasingly verbose solutions that often include unnecessary complexity and redundant functionality. Technical analysis of token maxed code bases shows several concerning patterns that directly impact maintainability and performance. Generated code frequently includes over engineered abstractions, excessive error handling for edge cases that never occur, and verbose documentation that obscures rather than clarifies functionality. Memory usage increases by an average of 35% in applications built with token maxing approaches, while execution speed decreases by 5% due to unnecessary computational overhead. The code review process becomes significantly more burdensome, with senior developers reporting that token max pull requests require 3x longer to evaluate compared to concise, purpose-built solutions. The economic impact extends beyond development velocity to operational costs and team dynamics. Organizations practicing token maxing report 300% higher AI tool usage costs due to excessive token consumption, while cloud infrastructure expenses increase by 0% to support bloated applications. Junior developers become overly dependent on AI-generated verbose solutions, failing to develop fundamental programming skills and architectural thinking. This creates a knowledge gap where team members can implement complex features but struggle to debug or optimize them when issues arise, leading to technical debt accumulation and reduced system reliability. Code volume increases 40% while development cycles extend 70% longer than traditional approaches. Memory usage rises 35% and execution speed decreases to 5% in token maxed applications. AI tool costs increase 300% due to excessive token consumption patterns. Code review time extends 3x longer for token maxed pull requests compared to concise solutions. Cloud infrastructure expenses grow to 0% to support over engineered applications.
Thank you for that analysis. Let's move on. Who benefits from understanding token maxing impact on developer teams?
Engineering managers and technical leads overseeing teams of 550 developers gain the most immediate value from recognizing token maxing patterns. These leaders need to identify when their teams are falling into the token maxing trap and implement guidelines that balance AI assistance with code quality. Organizations with rapid growth trajectories or tight delivery deadlines are particularly vulnerable, as the pressure to ship features quickly can lead developers to accept verbose AI-generated solutions without proper evaluation. Startups and scale-ups with limited senior engineering oversight face the highest risk, as junior developers may not recognize the long-term consequences of accumulating technical debt through token-maxed implementations. DevOps teams and platform engineers also benefit significantly from understanding token maxing impacts, as they must support the infrastructure requirements of bloated applications. These teams can implement monitoring and alerting systems that flag applications with suspicious resource consumption patterns that may indicate token maxing practices. QA engineers and testing specialists need to recognize that token max code often requires more comprehensive testing strategies due to increased complexity and potential edge cases introduced by verbose AI-generated solutions. However, teams with strong code review processes and experienced senior developers may find token maxing less problematic, as they can catch and redirect these practices before they impact production systems. Organizations with well-established coding standards and architectural guidelines also have natural defenses against token maxing. Teams working on performance-critical applications or resource-constrained environments should completely avoid token maxing practices, as the performance penalties and resource overhead are unacceptable in these contexts. Engineering managers overseeing 550 developer teams need token maxing detection strategies. Startups with limited senior oversight face highest risk from junior developer token maxing. DevOps teams must monitor infrastructure for token maxing related resource consumption spikes. Performance critical applications should completely avoid token maxing due to execution penalties.
Great insight, really helpful context. How to get started. Implementing anti-token maxing development practices.
Begin by establishing clear AI coding guidelines that emphasize consistency and purpose driven solutions rather than comprehensive token utilization. Configure your development environment with linting rules that flag functions exceeding 50 lines or files with more than 500 lines, as these often indicate token maxing patterns. Install code complexity analyzers like SonarCube or CodeClimate that automatically detect over-engineered solutions and provide refactoring suggestions. Set up pre-commit hooks that calculate cyclomatic complexity and reject commits with complexity scores above established thresholds for your codebase. Implement a structured code review process that specifically evaluates AI-generated code contributions for necessity and efficiency. Create review checklists that include questions about whether each function serves a single purpose, whether error handling is appropriate for the use case, and whether the solution could be implemented with fewer dependencies. Establish pair programming sessions between senior and junior developers when working with AI coding assistants, ensuring that verbose solutions are questioned and refined before implementation. Configure your AI coding tools with custom prompts that emphasize minimal viable solutions and explicitly request concise implementations. Monitor your development metrics to identify token maxing trends before they impact productivity. Track average pull request size, code review duration, and bug density across different developers to identify patterns that suggest token maxing practices. Implement automated testing that measures application performance and resource usage, alerting teams when new code introduces significant overhead. Create dashboards that visualize AI tool token usage per developer and per project, helping managers identify when teams are consuming excessive tokens without corresponding productivity gains. Configure linting rules to flag functions over 50 lines and files exceeding 500 lines. Install SonarCube or CodeClimate for automated over-engineering detection and refactoring suggestions. Set up pre-commit hooks that reject commits with high cyclomatic complexity scores. Create code review checklists specifically targeting AI-generated verbose solutions. Implement pair programming sessions between senior and junior developers for AI-assisted coding. Configure AI tools with custom prompts emphasizing minimal viable solutions.
That's a very interesting point. Tell us about competitive context. How token maxing changes developer tool landscape.
The token maxing trend creates a clear competitive divide between AI coding assistants that prioritize token volume versus those that emphasize code quality and efficiency. Tools like GitHub Copilot and Amazon Code Whisperer have begun implementing features that detect and discourage verbose code generation, while newer entrants like Replit's Ghostwriter and Tabnine focus on context-aware suggestions that prioritize conciseness. Organizations using quality-focused AI tools report 25% faster development cycles and 40% lower technical debt accumulation compared to teams using token maximizing approaches. This shift forces AI coding tool vendors to reconsider their value propositions and optimize for developer productivity rather than raw output volume. Traditional code quality tools gain renewed importance as organizations seek to combat token maxing effects. Static analysis platforms like Veracode and Checkmarks see increased adoption as teams need automated detection of over-engineered solutions. Code review platforms such as Crucible and ReviewBoard implement new features specifically designed to identify AI-generated verbose code patterns. The competitive advantage shifts toward tools that can seamlessly integrate AI assistance with quality gates, creating a new category of intelligent development environments that balance automation with maintainability. However, the token maxing trend also reveals limitations in current AI coding assistance approaches. Tools that cannot distinguish between appropriate verbosity and unnecessary complexity become liabilities rather than assets for productive development teams. Organizations must evaluate AI coding tools based on their ability to generate contextually appropriate solutions rather than comprehensive ones. This creates market pressure for AI vendors to improve their model's understanding of code elegance and efficiency, potentially leading to a new generation of AI coding assistants that prioritize solution quality over token utilization. Quality-focused AI tools show 25% faster development cycles than token-maximizing alternatives. Static analysis platforms see increased adoption for automated over-engineering detection. Code review platforms add features specifically targeting AI-generated verbose code patterns. Market pressure builds for AI vendors to prioritize solution quality over token volume.
Good analysis. Let's continue. What's next? Future implications of the token maxing developer productivity crisis?
The industry response to token maxing will likely drive the development of next generation AI coding assistants that incorporate efficiency metrics and code quality assessment directly into their generation algorithms. Major vendors are already investing in research that combines large language models with static analysis capabilities, creating AI tools that can evaluate their own output for maintainability and performance impact. By late 2026, we expect to see AI coding assistants that provide multiple solution options ranked by efficiency, maintainability, and resource consumption rather than just generating the most comprehensive response possible. Educational initiatives and certification programs will emerge to help developers recognize and avoid token maxing patterns in their AI assisted development workflows. Universities and coding bootcamps are beginning to integrate AI coding ethics and efficiency training into their curricula, teaching students to critically evaluate AI generated solutions. Professional development platforms like Pluralsight and Udemy are creating specialized courses on responsible AI coding practices, helping experienced developers transition from traditional coding approaches to AI augmented development without falling into token maxing traps. The long-term implications suggest a fundamental shift in how the industry evaluates developer productivity and AI tool effectiveness. Traditional metrics like lines of code per day or features shipped per sprint become less meaningful when AI can generate massive amounts of code quickly. New productivity measurements will focus on solution elegance, maintainability scores, and long-term technical debt impact rather than raw output volume. This evolution will reshape performance reviews, hiring practices, and team management approaches as organizations learn to optimize for sustainable development velocity rather than short-term feature delivery speed. Next generation AI coding assistants will rank solutions by efficiency and maintainability. Universities integrate AI coding ethics and efficiency training into computer science curricula. New productivity metrics focus on solution elegance rather than code volume output. Performance reviews shift towards sustainable development velocity over feature delivery speed.
Great analysis. So, what are the key takeaways from all of this?
Implement linting rules and complexity analyzers to automatically detect token maxing patterns before code review. Configure AI coding tools with custom prompts that explicitly request concise, minimal viable solutions. Monitor development metrics, including pull request size and code review duration, to identify token maxing trends. Establish pair programming sessions between senior and junior developers when using AI coding assistants.
And what market signals should our listeners watch for?
AI coding tool vendor consolidation. The token maxing crisis accelerates market consolidation as organizations abandon tools that generate verbose, inefficient code. Vendors that cannot demonstrate clear productivity improvements beyond raw code generation face declining adoption rates. Quality-focused AI coding assistants gain market share by emphasizing solution elegance over token utilization, creating a competitive advantage for tools that integrate static analysis and efficiency metrics directly into their code generation algorithms. Developer skill gap widening. Token maxing practices create a growing skill gap between developers who can critically evaluate AI-generated solutions and those who accept verbose outputs without question. Organizations invest heavily in training programs that teach responsible AI coding practices, while senior developers become increasingly valuable for their ability to mentor teams away from token maxing habits. This trend reshapes hiring priorities, with companies seeking developers who demonstrate both AI tool proficiency and code quality judgment. Infrastructure cost optimization focus. The 2.540% infrastructure cost increase from token maxed applications drives renewed focus on application efficiency and resource optimization. Cloud providers develop new monitoring tools that specifically identify bloated applications and suggest optimization strategies. DevOps teams gain increased influence in development processes as organizations recognize the direct connection between code quality decisions and operational expenses, leading to tighter integration between development and infrastructure teams.
What should developers and operators do with this information?
Audit existing code bases for token maxing patterns within 30 days using complexity analyzers and performance profiling tools. Implement AI coding guidelines and review checklists before next sprint planning to prevent future token maxing incidents. Configure monitoring dashboards for token usage and application performance by end of quarter to track token maxing trends. Schedule training sessions on responsible AI coding practices for all developers within 60 days of policy implementation.
Thank you for listening to leadai.dev. Stay tuned for our next daily updates in this rapidly emerging market.